friend. Hello.
Welcome
Hello.
to the first episode of Bit of Content.
There is a bit of that, I will say.
The very first official episode.
Yeah, with the title and everything. We're bloody getting there.
Thanks, Joseph.
Yeah. You can coin that all to Vic, because there is no way I could put anything like that together. I'm just gonna let my mates know that we're about to jump on. How you been, mate? How was your week off?
The week off was good. It was fucking boring. Didn't really do much, but I didn't plan on doing anything with my week off to begin with. But it was nice. Just relaxing. Got to make some of this stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Spent a little bit of time making some stuff for the podcast, but now we're doing good.
Nice. I haven't got like a week off, per se. But I've got some time coming off soon. Coming up soon. And I'm heading back home, which is an absolute fucking drag. I can't be bothered, but it's one of those things,
When are you going home?
Just kind of, shit. That's a good question. I think it's the middle of July. Wait, so I tangent number one.
Here we go.
Loves a bit of Blue V. Hates the amount of sugar. So your boy did end up getting a Blue V specifically for the
sugar-free.
No sugar one.
I got sugar because why not? Sugar-free is also good though.
Yeah. I think it's probably the best. I would say it's the best, like, sugar-free energy drink that I've had. Bit of content with the large side of Chad and extra penis jokes. Your boy's gonna chuck a couple of.
I'm sure there'll at least be one penis joke uttered.
Yes,
in
at least one.
The podcast today.
But yeah, I think it's I fly out on the 20th of July, from Auckland, and then I will be in Wellington on Thursday. I'm getting a new tattoo. It's pretty fucking cool.
Nice.
Haven't had one in a hot minute, so that'll be fun.
Do you know what you're getting, or is it a surprise?
I'm gonna get a gargoyle.
Nice.
My usual
on your neck.
Yeah, and it's gonna say bit of content underneath it.
Oh shit.
And if we going like this and throwing up gang signs and all that. But no, it's gonna be I've got a tattoo artist who's done a lot of the ones that are on my leg. And I kind of reserved that area for her stuff because all of it kind of matches up with itself.
Yep.
In terms of like style and everything like that. So I figured I'd reach out to her, and she was like, "Hell yeah, come on in, let's do a gargoyle." So we're gonna get that sorted on the Thursday, and then I'm just gonna head back to Masterton for a couple of days. I'm not looking forward to that. I fucking hate Masterton. It's a shithole.
What is there to do in Masterton?
You tell me, mate.
I've never been. So
nah, it's a place, mate.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
fair
a
enough.
place. That's it. It was like I firmly believe, and I'm not sure about like how you would go about this sort of stuff, but I like firmly believe that if I were to, like, if Mum and Nana weren't there, then I'd just never go back.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like,
if my family didn't live in Gisborne, I would probably never go.
What about R&V?
I haven't been to R&V in a long time.
Yeah, I've gone once. That was enough. I was also like 19, so I was fresh in it, ready to take on the goddamn world. But I only need to do it once. You know, I didn't need to do anything else. It was the year that Wiz went, which was quite cool.
Yeah, I think
If
I
you got
went
to
that year.
experience that.
No, I did go that year. I went to RMV maybe 5 times, and yeah, I don't know. It's like
Just
as
chucking
you
us some
get
words.
older, you kind of like just get over that whole 3 days of just drinking.
like, like I think the drinking side of things, because like I feel like your body's a well, not your body, but your mind is aware of what you're doing. So like it, you kind of mentally prepare yourself for all that sort of stuff, and then but you're camping, and at fucking 5:30 in the morning, you hear the person next to you throwing up in their tent, and it's 35 degrees already, and you're just like, what is going on? My whole life, like, and then you just get up and you deal with the fact that you're a piece of shit, and you have another drink, and then you just continue doing what you're doing for the next couple of days,
It was
rinse and
yeah,
repeat.
it wasn't so bad for me and my mates because like
You,
we would get up and then go to my parents'
yeah,
house and have a shower and stuff, and then go
yeah,
back to the campsite or go get breakfast or whatever in town, and then go back to the campsite. But it's
yeah,
just the amount of time you spend just drinking and duffing around in a
yeah.
vineyard.
Like anyone who actually drinks wine from any vineyard that is used for R&B is drinking piss,
Yeah,
like
literal.
real human piss. Um, but I remember the year that we went, like, because my flatmate at the time, she was also from Gisborne, so she was basically like, you guys can't you like stay there, but you can come back to mine and like shower and use a bathroom that isn't full of traces of MDMA and
All
shit.
sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so it's a it's a lot. It's fun. It is a lot of fun, Joseph. But like 3 days of it, if it was any
Oh,
longer, you yeah,
like yeah, don't get me wrong. I fucking loved RMV. The years I
yep,
went, it was always fucking sick. But it's always like after it where your body's like, fuck.
yep.
Now
I
we have to
remember
recover.
I remember getting the time off to be able to go to R&B, and then as I as I got to the like the end of it, I was like, fuck, I have like work like the next day.
Yep.
And I was just like, that's was stupid of me. I made that mistake. But I remember getting back to Wellington and being like, what am I like have I actually slept in the last 4 days? Um, oh, Rhythm and Vines. Yeah, sorry, I should say that. Um, and we we got home and it was like maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like sick. I've got work at like 4 the next day, so I like got into bed and woke up at like 2 the next day. I slept for like 12 hours straight. And I was like, this still sucks. I still feel hungover. And then to think that this would fix it, for dinner, I got a Caesar salad. And I was like, yes, all
What
of
a
the alcohol.
fantastic choice.
And then I worked for 12 hours, you know? So.
I think I did that twice where like I would have work on like the second, because there were a couple of times at RMV where like I would fly back to Auckland on the first and fuck that flight,
Yeah.
and then I would go to work on the second and just be an absolute piece of shit all day at work because I was just like,
Did, were
nah,
you, have you gone while you've worked at Alwick?
no.
Or, yeah.
Haven't been to
So it was,
RMV in a long time now. Maybe
yeah.
five 5 years or so was the last time I went.
Nice. So it was like work would have been.
At the time, it was when I worked at Carl's Jr.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep.
And so
So you literally just loud noises, people who are also hungover but coming in to order shit off you.
yeah,
Yeah, fuck that. Like honestly, fuck that.
It's
I
just, yeah, it's a lot.
yeah, I'm glad that I didn't end up doing the like working in like what are they called? Like fast chain restaurants or like fast food restaurants. I just worked in like a standard restaurant, a bar, and then a coffee place. But I just don't think I could deal with like working at a McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
it's just
I worked at Carl's Jr. for like 5 years. It
yeah
was like a lot of it was cool because I primarily did the closing shift. So
yeah
I would start at like, I can't even remember, like 5 o'clock or something. The restaurant would close at like midnight, and then we'd usually finish up at like 1:32. And closing was fun, like,
hmm
because the people who closed were always like just really good people,
yeah
and
yeah
so it was a lot of fun. But it was just such shit, like repetitive as fuck work.
yeah
And I think I've talked about this before, maybe not on a podcast or anything, but on stream. But like, because it was just like it was the work I had. I couldn't find another job that I really wanted, and so
yeah.
I just did what I could. And I mean, I met Megan through Carl's Jr., so there was one good thing that came about
Win
it.
some, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I I feel like we're both in the kind of like same boat where we talk about how like we stayed because of the people that were
Yeah,
there. And like I worked a shitty bar job for a really long time for like I think almost like 4.5 years. I was studying during that time as well. Um and doing all that kind of usual shit. And I was just like, man, what am I doing? I work fucking 12 hours a night, go to bed at like 4 in the morning, wake up at 9, walk to uni. Like, what am I doing?
yeah.
And then I realized really quickly that it was just because I was working with really cool people. So I was like, I've got to, I just got to stick it out for them, basically. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Hold on.
What Joseph said in chat as well is another thing, like playing music,
Yeah.
because we would do that as well. I don't think we were meant to, but we would always just plug someone's phone into speakers in the shop
Yeah.
and just play
What were
play fucking
you
Psy, just play
over Gangnam
Gangnam
Style?
Style on 2 hour
Fucking
loop.
Gangnam Style constantly. At the coffee shop when it was Christmas time, we played Mariah Carey's or All I Want for Christmas like over and over again to see if our manager would notice. Um, and like it got to the point where we were like, do we even tell her? Because she's loving it. She was like, man, I think like she'd like pause halfway through and be like, this song's gone on for a while, and then just continue doing what she's doing. Um,
It's a long song.
yeah.
Mariah really wants us for Christmas.
Yeah, and I was fucking cracking up one time. Um we were like, oh, someone's looped this song. Oh, we'll change it. And then so we changed it to like I think it was like the Spanish version of the song or like the Justin Bieber version of it, and we just did the same thing. Shouts out to Lisa. She was the goat.
Shout out, Lisa. There are a couple times I remember when me and a few others were closing, like, I would plug my phone in and just play like Goku or Vegeta going Super Saiyan, and then we would just stand in the middle of the kitchen going, "Ah!" Just being like dickheads. But it was like max volume, so people outside would have been walking past
Yeah,
just hearing
yeah.
like
I will
Goku
not
going
let you
Super
destroy
Saiyan.
my world.
It was so dumb, but it was just like we
uh
had to do something to make the job
like
fun.
and like I think that's the kind of catch with those sorts of jobs. It was like if you're only there for the monotony of work, then you're only going to be there for a little while and you're going to fucking hate everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
So being able to jump on like kind of create the fun out of nothing, because like a job like those ones is very, let's be real, lame.
Mm.
um and you can end up being pretty like, people who've worked in like those sorts of jobs for what am I doing? Sorry, those sorts of jobs for like 30 years. It's like you either must love what you do, like really love what you do, or just like coast on the fact that you are getting paid probably quite a substantial amount above minimum wage. Because I feel like you wouldn't stick around for that long unless you
No,
did, right? Yeah.
but it's weird because, like, I mean, it's not weird, but because fast food work it's not easy, but it's
Yeah.
also like anyone can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no, it's not like there's a threshold that you have to meet to be able to take someone's order. You know, it's the same as like the bar job. Like, all you got to do is figure out the basics of pouring a beer and know how to use the system.
Mm.
And the system is literally, you wanted this beer, cool, press that beer button there.
Yeah, so that was the main thing that
Mm.
sucked, was dealing with shitty people
Yeah, yeah,
and getting paid to just take people's shit.
yeah. Have you, did you ever get in like such a massive argument with someone that you like were like, cool, I'm gonna throw down with them? Sorry, I'm just gonna close the door.
No, it's all good. I mean,
Right.
there were a few times I literally grabbed people and threw them out.
That's sick.
And like, because I wasn't like a manager or anything, but I was like a shift leader. So if the manager wasn't there, I was like in charge.
Yeah, yeah,
And there were people who would come in repeatedly and just go into the rubbish, find something,
yeah,
like grab a cup, refill a cup, and then walk out. And I had had enough of it. So I saw this guy come in. He'd been coming in heaps. He went over to the bin, put his hand in, grabbed a cup, and started filling it up. And I was just like, fuck this. So I walked over, grabbed the cup out of his hand, threw it away, and then just grabbed him. And I was like, you're done, mate. And I just took him outside, chucked him outside. And he's like, you can't do this. I'm going to call the cops. I'm like, well, call the fucking cops then. I don't give a fuck. I'm sick of you coming in here and doing this shit. And he didn't know what to do. So he just left. And then I never
yeah,
saw him again. So I was like,
yeah.
fuck, I'm going to do this more often.
And so that's Vak the bouncer came through.
But it
Bloody
got to the point
wasted
where,
people.
like, it was so bad they hired security, and the security couldn't
Yeah,
do anything because security can't do anything. They
yeah,
just
yeah.
tell people, they're just like, "Oh, don't."
It's real interesting watching like bouncers, like, because obviously working in the bar it's slightly different. They have to wait for something to instigate before they can step in and do
Yeah,
anything. And it's fucking like they're in danger like 24/7, which is ridiculous. There's only been like, there were a bunch of fights at the bar that I was at, and the boys were fucking epic. But like they were only on like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They weren't on any other days. So when it all hit the fan and like Monday and shit like that, you're just like, man, it's the start of the week, you fucking assholes. I'm the only male on, meaning that I'm the one that gets put to the forefront with that sort of shit.
yeah.
And I have only ever thrown out someone like twice, and the first time was, I was like, I must have been like maybe just hitting 20, and the dude was fucking plastered on like a Tuesday, and I was like, you know what, that's kind of epic. But he was being super, very, very like aggressive towards the girls that were on.
Mm.
And like when you're the only male and the rest of the girls are like, fucking 18-year-old kids. I mean, I was a 20-year-old, so I was also a child basically.
Yeah.
Still am. Shouts out. I was like, no, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And he was like sitting at the bar, so it was really easy to just kind of be like, cool, bro, you got to go. And he's
Yeah.
just like, why? What have I done? And I was just like, bro, you're being fucking weird to like everyone here. It's a Tuesday. Like, what are you doing? And he's just like, oh, I'm just, and I was like, I don't want your excuses, man. I want you out. And he was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, you fucking piece. You're going to make me raise the almighty hammer. So I walked around the bar. It was really funny.
Why I oughta lay you the fuck out, boy.
The bar was legit like 20 meters long, so
Yeah.
I had to like walk to the other end so I could get out.
I
and
thought you
walk
were
all
gonna
the way
say you
down.
grabbed him and just dragged him along the bar.
the second time I reached over the bar and pulled someone out. But that bar was slightly different. So the place that I worked, we had a downstairs area. That's where the entrance was.
Yep.
Then we had the upstairs area, and then there was like a private function area. The private function area was where I dragged someone over the bar. That was funny. But I walked around and the guy like kind of stands up and I don't think he expects me to do anything except be like, you've got to go. And I think I knew that. And so all I had to do was shock him. I had to like put him in a position where he couldn't think before he could act. And so when I walked up to him, I just like, it's so stupid, but I just punched him square in the chest. And it did like the like that noise. And then I just grabbed him by his shirt and dragged him out because he was probably
He was
like
15.
slightly shorter than I am.
Yeah.
But there was nothing to him. And I mean, there's nothing to me either. So it didn't really matter. But when I did it just shocked him and he couldn't do anything. So as soon as I did that, I just like grabbed his shirt, just started dragging him out of the bar. And I literally like, you know, like when you like when you watch in cartoons how like they throw someone out of the house or something. So I did that to him and I was like, if you come back in here, I'm calling the fucking cops. And then I went back inside and like adrenaline very quickly wore off. And I was like, why did I do that? I don't know. I'm fucking 20. I'm like 70 kg soaking wet. There's no way that I could even for a second have that be a real thing. The next one, I see Joseph saying you should have punched him in the throat. Was me accepting the fact that I will take a life tonight. It was this private function. This dude was a real fucking asshole the entire night. But they couldn't kick him out because he was like the groomsman or whatever. And I was like, I'm not gonna stand here and be fucking belittled by some wanker who thinks he can run the show. And I said to him, I was like, cool, bro, you'll cut off. I'm not gonna serve you any more alcohol because you're being a real fucking asshole. He's like, what? Oh, you wouldn't say that if you weren't behind the bar. And I was like, what are you gonna do, bro? Like everyone here is now staring at you. Like you're being a real fucking asshole. And he was like, oh yeah, but you wouldn't say that if you can't. And he spat at me and just instant red. And I was just like, cool, I'm going to take a man's life tonight. And I reached over the bar and grabbed him because he was wearing like a suit because it was like the kind of, I guess like after party thing.
Yeah.
And I grabbed him by his like suit. And because, you know, like tuxedos are not meant to be handled like that.
Yeah.
So it was very, very easily torn.
Yeah.
And I just grabbed him and I like ripped his shirt and pulled him across the bar. And because I had seen red, there was a lot of like, am I fully aware of what I'm doing right now? And I had grabbed a handle, so like a beer glass, and I had Wolverine smashed it on the bar. And then like when I had pulled him over, I think that like, because it was a Saturday, so at that point the bouncers were already there. At that point I was like, oh, okay, so I was ready to kill a person tonight. That's an interesting thought. So don't spit on people. That's the main thing.
I think that's like, the takeaway from this.
Verbal abuse and everything like that, it's not fine, but you know, people get over it. But spitting on someone is actual assault in New Zealand. Did you know that?
It's also just fucking disgusting.
It's genuinely disgusting. He was also drinking some fucking blue drink, so it was like all over, like this disgusting blue, like sickly color, and I was just like, God, I'm
it's
glad.
Probably like the most degrading thing you can do to someone.
100%, yeah. I've been in many situation where I've seen like people get spat on, and I'm just like, that's fucked. Like, what do you gain from that? Like, regardless of how much I've drunk and how much I've been pissed off by someone, that thought would never cross my mind. But yes, that was fun. that was an interesting night. The boys were like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." They're like, "You're bleeding." That's when I looked at my hand. I was like, "Oh, I'm Wolverine, sick." But to be honest, all it really was the handle because the glass had been smashed.
Yeah.
So I was just holding like a the equivalent of like this bit.
Yeah.
So there was no like I would have hit him and it would have done more damage to me. But the thought was there, you know.
Man. Just like that stuff, the whole drunk and out and getting into kind of arguments and fights. Like there was one time me and my mates, it was like at the end of a night, so we were at the Britomart McDonald's and where the line was like outside. And so we're outside waiting to order. And then there was this dude, he was just being an absolute dick. Like he was just complaining about everything. He was being rude to everyone. And then we looked at the security guard and we were like, "Are you gonna kick this guy out of here?" And he's like, "Nah, I can't really do anything." And we're like, "Oh, whatever." But this guy wouldn't stop just being an absolute asshole. And then it got to the point where the security guard looked back at us and he's like, "Do you guys just want to deal with him?" And we're like, "Fuck yeah." And so we grabbed this guy and like threw him into the corner and like beat him up. We weren't like laying into him. We were just like giving him little hits and stuff.
Yeah.
And then one of my mates was just like spanking him on the ass. It was just fucking crack up. And then we stopped. This guy like came out of the corner. He's like, "What the fuck? I'm gonna go get my brothers." And then like he just ran away. And we were like, "Okay." And then the security guard's just like, "Thanks." And we're like, "Can we get our food now?" Like, it just cracked us up how he's like, "Do you guys want to deal with it?" No.
While you're at work, you were
nah. This was like
even better.
we were on the piss, and like it was like at the end of a night when we went to get some food before we went back home.
That's good.
But it just cracked because like I remember we were holding him in the corner and we were giving him like little jabs and stuff, and then I looked over and one of my mates was just like slapping him on the ass.
Oh man.
But it's just security guards and fights and stuff in town. Obviously, they can go very bad, very bad. Of course.
Like one thing, Mum. So Mum shouts out,
"Welcome, Lux."
Hey, Lux, welcome. Shouts out, my mum. She's a black belt, in Kaizen and karate. And she was like, she taught me at a really young age, that, do you guys ever
watch someone else go ballistic at a customer?
Not
nah.
at my work. Oh, actually, yeah, I have at the bar as well.
Like someone else as in another employee or like a
yeah.
Oh, shit.
He was so he was there was a guy again, just drunk idiot, and he was just being an asshole to him the entire time. I won't say his name because I don't need to. But he was ginger or is ginger, I guess. And of course, you know, back in 2014, that was the go-to insult for anyone who had red hair, you know. So he was just like, "I'm really getting sick of this dude. Like, he won't leave me alone." It was like another like day where we didn't have a bouncer on. And I was like, "Hey, just let it go. If he comes up, we're just gonna not serve him, make it nice and easy." But his mates were fine. It was just him. And so as the kind of night was moving forward, the guy was just relentless, and it got to the point where his mates were like, "Oi, fucking cut it out! Like, what are you doing?" And he was just like, "No, fuck this guy." And I was about to say his name, and he just gets up and like from out of the bar, and I mean, like, not a big guy, but I could tell that he had some weight behind him. And he walks up to the dude and he does like the classic like push, and he's like, "What's your fucking problem, bro? What's your problem?" And he's like, "You're my problem." And the dude swung at him. And he like steps back because obviously the guy's drunk, so he thinks he's moving faster than he actually is. And you know, the fight between All Might and All for One,
Mm.
where he's like, no, I'm gonna put my back into it, and he like cocks up this punch, and I just saw the dude lean back, and he just cocks his punch up, and I see him connect like square into his nose, and the blood just goes, and I was like, fuck, we're fucked, and so I had to like run out of the bar and like grab the dude and like pull him back, and I was like, he is not worth it, and you've already won, bro. So I got him behind the bar, and one of our managers was this brick shit house of a dude. And I was like, bro, I've got to get blank to come up and deal with this. And he comes up, probably like legitimately like 110 kg Samoan dude walks up these stairs, because the other work was like yelling, so it was like loud enough to hear from downstairs, and you just see him wander up the stairs and see this dude with like essentially a broken nose, and his mates being like, "Oh, he hit him," um, and and the manager just looks at all of them and legit goes, "Unless all of you want one as well, I suggest you all leave." And the dude just goes, "What are you gonna do about him?" He's like, "Nothing. I'm not gonna do anything. But if you don't move now, I'm about to do something." And they ended up kicking the dudes out. But that was like, I wasn't even involved with that, and the adrenaline that hit me was insane, because I was like, "Fuck!" It's like me and him against like probably 6 or 7 people, and not fun. Have you been jumped before?
Not me, no, but a couple of my mates have before. One of my mates got fucked up really bad in Hastings one time. Like they got jumped by a group of guys. Two of my mates were in Hastings, and they got jumped by a group of guys, and one of my mates got like a really bad concussion that fucked him up for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And he couldn't.
So don't do it yourself. I ask about this because that's the guy who we got jumped in Wellington.
Tell us the story.
All right, give me a sec. I need to. I've been in the piss since we started. I probably should have.
You should have pissed beforehand.
Yeah, give me
the
like
fuck is
30
he doing?
seconds. One sec.
Go piss. Jesus Christ! Welcome everybody to the first episode of Bitter Content. All right, let's have a look. Joseph said, I had a manager help me with this rude customer who wouldn't move slightly out of line to wait for his online order because he had ordered it an hour and a half ahead, but was slammed. He threw a drink at the manager, calls him an asshole, motherfucking kicks him. Guy didn't get his order. We got to eat his order in the back. Nice. Expert streamer. I know, right? And like, the thing is, before we went live, we were on a call and I was setting up this scene here. And then I said, I'm going to start the stream and then I'm going to go get a drink and stuff. And he just fucking sat there. He had all that time to piss. He'll tell you about it when he gets back. All right. Yeah. Liz should have just brought him a jar. But you're welcome, guys. He's back now.
I was self-promoting at the beginning of the stream. Before we started. That's why.
Oh, yeah, true. You were posting links and stuff. That's fair enough.
But I also drank like a bunch of water beforehand because I have a little bit of a sore throat. Nothing to worry about, but I think it was because
Joe's Goat _71 says for shame. Shame. For shame.
For shame. Did you wash your hands? That was very quick. I agree. He said 30 seconds, and I was like, okay.
Well, my toilet is right there, and then the sink is like right there. My hands are still wet.
Says shame.
I definitely wash my hands.
I should have increased the cost of TTS for the podcast episode. I should have made it 50k.
But what was I going to say? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Joe and I getting jumped.
Yes, it was jumped in Wellington.
It's fucking, first off, it fucking sucks. Like, it's such a fucking shitty thing to do to someone. If you want to fight someone, sweet, that's fine. Fight them, but don't fucking swing at them while they're walking away.
People die. Like, that's the thing.
that's what I was. So when I brought that mum's a black belt, she taught me like real early at like a super young age that it only takes one. Like
Yeah.
all it takes is a single punch and that's it. And New Zealand is fucking awful at that. We get it all the time. Close the door, pup. Probably gonna hear this dog screaming in a second. But yeah, she was like, yeah, it only takes one. So that's where this kind of that conversation was going from. But we were walking. So I had been working. Joe had come down to Wellington to surprise
Lux
me.
0RD1 says last TTS maybe. Your layout looks awesome.
Thank you, Lux.
There we go. Nice. And he came down to surprise me. Didn't tell me that he was coming down. So of course I was working. So I had to like convince my boss to let me off early that night. But before that, he was drinking for free, of course. So Long Island after bloody Long Island, sinking it, and we were also near kind of like near when I was about to finish. I was like, cool, I'm gonna have a couple of drinks. But at that point, Joe was like asleep, basically, like at the bar. So I was just like, oh, I'll have a couple with a few of the other boys, and we'll and then I'll take him home. We'll walk home. Because Wellington, you can walk anywhere. That's one thing that I miss about Wellington. Not much, but that's the thing. And so we got up, and I was like, cool, Joe, time for us to head out. So I started walking back to, we started walking back, and Joe's a big fella. He's like 6 years old. And like,
God, no.
no, I think he's like 6'3". I want to say he's a tall fella. He's probably probably about the same height as you.
Well, I'm 6'4", so.
Oh, okay, so maybe a little bit shorter than that. I think he's like 6'3". If he's still here, I'm sure he can confirm it. But we were walking home, and Joe is and you've probably noticed this as well. You become a target when you're that big, like when you're a tall fella, and you can be seen above everyone else's head height. Joe Mama, let's go.
God damn it!
And so we were walking down the street from the bar that I work at, and we turned the corner, and these guys just started mouthing off, and you know, Joe had some drinks, so he started giving them a little bit of lip back. And then as I was like, yeah, come on, all right, let's go. So I kind of turned Joe around, and then turned back to them, and I was like, you guys need to just leave. And I just like all the stars aligned for this to happen. Like I saw his mate, like, because he was like right in my face, and like yelling, and I was just like, bro, just leave. I'm not gonna do anything. We're not gonna do anything. We're just gonna go home. And I could see, like, just past him, his mate was like running towards us, like not like to try and break. It was like I'm gonna cock up a punch and I'm gonna sprint and I'm gonna swing at this dude over my mate. And I saw it all happen in slow motion. And as soon as the guy swung at us, I like leaned back. And you know that bit where I keep referring back to anime because it's the best way that I can describe it. But the bit when Eren becomes a Titan for the first time and he punches that other Titan and it like knocks his head off, but like it goes like the shockwave goes from like the ground up to his like fist and connects. And I just remember
the earth trembled.
Yeah, I leaned back and he clipped me in the nose, and that not stunned but like fogged my eyes, but just all instinct out the window, and I just went and I just hit the dude square in the cheekbone, and fold, you know, like the classic, like when someone gets hit and they get knocked out, they just like fold like a lawn chair.
Jesus
and I hit him
Christ.
like that, and I was like, oh fuck. And then his mate tackled me, whole shebang. I didn't realize that someone had walked behind Joe, and because obviously they're not going to be able to fucking fight this 6-foot behemoth man. so they tried to like get him from behind, and he ended up just like moving into the middle of the road. I don't know how it happened because I was on the ground. And he had like every time I tell this story,
There's another dude. There's more and more dudes.
I had another person. Yeah. It was more like there were 5 of them, and 3 of them were on Joe. And they were all just like punching him, and he had his head down, and he was like kind of protecting himself. And then he did like the classic, like when your head's down and you're swinging, and he just does like the classic hammer arm swing, and he also just lays this dude out while he's getting punched in the head. And I was just like, "Nah, we gotta go." So I pulled the shirt over the guy's his shirt over his face while he was on top of me, and I'm pretty sure I kicked him in the nuts just to get him off me. No fucking rules in street fights, kids. You do damage where you can do damage.
Not that we're promoting street fighting. Please, please just don't fight people in the streets. If you guys do want to watch
some really fucking crack up street fights, you guys should watch Street Beefs. It's fucking epic. It's so good. They set up like an MMA ring in like a backyard, and people just fight each other. There's one where it's 2 guys in wheelchairs, and they're just fucking hitting each other.
Jesus Christ, awesome. What are we doing?
Talking about some content, mate. We'll actually move into proper stuff later. And I just like basically ran and like bunted Joe, like shouldered Joe out of like the circle of people that were around him. And I was like, we got to run like yesterday. And so we bolted it up the road, got away. And as we were kind of catching our breath and dealing with the fact that had just happened, I was like, no, fuck this. I'm not gonna like, he basically sober at this point. He's like, I'm calling the cops. Fuck this shit. And he called the cops, and they showed up, and they were like, cool, we'll take your statement and everything. And then another cop car shows up, and the fucking balls on the dude. He shows up, and he's just like, yes, I saw the whole thing. I was like sitting in the car down the road. I just saw the whole thing.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And he's like, he basically pulled the whole, I'm a cop, you can't talk to me like that. And I was like, man, I got punched in the fucking face like 20 times by some random dude, and you were sitting up the road doing nothing? Watching? Fucking piece of shit. So I fucking started going in on this dude, and he was like, he started reading my rights. And I was like, fuck you, I'm not talking to you. And the other 2 cops that were there taking our statements, I'm like, 2 things are going to happen now. You're going to tell this guy to fucking leave, or I'm calling the cops again, and we're going to deal with this like that. And they were like, yeah, cool, you got to go. And he was like still reading his rights. And I was like, can you shut the fuck up? Can you actually shut the... And this was me being like, I've been punched in the head. Adrenaline's still pumping. I know that I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to. And I basically turned around to Joe, and I was like, he got fucking smacked around, so you probably want to check him out. And then they were like, cool, what we're going to do is we're going to take you guys home, and we'll just like, you know, make sure that we keep an eye on the area and everything like that. And I was like, that's it? There was a cop there that could have done something, and they didn't. That was the most frustrating thing. But getting jumped fucking sucks. Waking up in the morning fucking sucks. Like, I woke up in the morning and everything hurt. Like, my whole body hurt. And Joe, who was actually getting like fucking ba in the actual face, was like, yeah, no wonder my head fucking hurts. I was getting heaps of punches. What does this say?
Yeah, there were 20 guys. I had to fist fight 10 of them by myself. I had no shoes on. I'd broken my arm the day before.
That was their downfall, me not having shoes on.
Little did they know that was when my true power reveals itself. When I'm barefoot.
Yeah, I'm really connected with the earth. But that's a crowning, that was a crowning moment for me. It was like, cause I've done a little bit of like boxing just through like friends and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When you said your mum's a black belt, I was going to ask if you ever did any of that stuff because of that.
No. So I don't know why we didn't.
Did you do any martial arts or anything at all growing up?
Nothing outside of mum teaching us a handful of things. So it was never it was something that was never kind of brought through from mum, but I think it had something to do with my dad, because although he wasn't a particularly good person, he also was like, no, they can't play sports, they can't do this because they'll hurt themselves or something along those lines. I don't fucking know. It doesn't really matter. But nah, long and short of it is no, we didn't. Which is lame because I would have liked to have done something like that. And I mean, it's still a possibility, right?
I mean, you can learn martial arts at any age, I guess.
Yeah.
I did a little bit when I was younger, but never got fully into it. Yeah. I think the main reason I stopped doing it is because one time, what was it called? I did it's something called Wu Chi, and it's like it's some form of karate, but it's more around for yourself. It's not about like fighting people and stuff. And I did that when I was real young. And then there was one time where I think I walked to the place after school, and then I walked to the place after school, went up the stairs to start, and the door was locked. And I was like, oh, what? And then this was before, like, I was real young. I didn't have a cell phone or anything. It was kind of just like mum knew I was going to be at this place until this time, and then she would come get me. And so I went there. The door was locked. No one was there. And I was just like, what do I do? And then I was like 8, maybe 9. I went down the stairs, looked around, didn't see anyone, and I just sat there and started crying. And then this lady must have heard me, because she there were apartments or something nearby, and she looked out the window and she saw me on the ground just crying, and she asked if I needed help, and I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing karate, but no one's here and the door's locked. And then she's like, oh, I'll call your mum. And then luckily I remembered our home phone number or whatever, and so she called home. Do
you still remember your home phone number?
Yeah, I think it's the same one. Yeah. So she called my mum. My mum came and she picked me up, and she was fucking furious. She was like, no one told us that there wasn't anything on today. And then I think after that point, mum was just like, you're not going anymore. They didn't tell us, blah, blah, blah. And then I just never went back.
Fair enough, though.
That was my karate story. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. They just started making us do laps around the block, so I wasn't keen for that either.
Classic, yeah. But yeah, it's a learning a martial art is cool in theory, but I feel like it's a lot, and you don't really pick up something like that at 27 or 30. You know what I mean? Unless you're like, I've watched this and now I want to do this. Which
what
is
do you mean? You've watched so much anime. You just walk in and be like,
true.
Listen, I am Vegeta.
I am Principal Sans.
Have you heard of Eren Yeager?
Give me. I punched someone like him one time.
The earth cracked underneath my foot. Yeah. The surge of electricity.
I feel like that sort of thing kind of comes more to the forefront when current media hits like that. So the absolute perfect example of that is Dungeons and Dragons and Stranger Things, and how how much Stranger Things basically skyrocketed the Dungeons and Dragons side of things to not be just
welcome Ness,
stinky nerds. Hey Ness, welcome. Instead it's adults who can be stinky if they want to.
Instead it's stinky nerds, but they're adults.
Yeah. So I
they have colourful hair.
Would need to. True. It would need to be. It would need to be some kind of show or media to kind of that isn't magic based or literally impossible, i.e., any kind of anime ever. But yeah, stinky nerds and adults. Yeah, that's basically it. What was I gonna say? It had to do with Stranger Things. So the second half of that season, the 4th season, is coming out shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know Oh, do you guys? I guess I'm prefacing this to like everyone, but
Yeah.
what do you think's going to happen?
There'll be some sort of, preface for anyone who hasn't seen part 1 of season 4, maybe piss off for a
Hop
bit.
away for 5 minutes, yeah.
But I'm like, what do I think? I don't think I don't think Vecna or number 1 is going to be the final bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he'll be the main bad
100%.
guy going into season 5.
Mhm.
I think that part of it will be resolved with these last 2 episodes. Will do. Will do. I don't know. It's just like I see them just wrapping up the whole Vecna side of things.
Yeah.
And then maybe starting to look at 11 more, because I feel like the final season will be a bit more based around maybe the Upside Down itself and like what it actually is and how they're going to completely seal it off and no longer have to deal with any of this other shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking anyway. I do hope there's more focus around Will.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
If not in these last 2 episodes, at least next season.
I think this my theory falls into I think he's got some sort of power in regards to Vecna and all that sort of stuff. Do you think
they're gonna
they're
gonna flip the upside down to
right
make it the right side up, and then it will be that's the end goal.
Yeah,
it'll be 11 going,
and then her
flipping
nose
it, and then
bleed,
and she goes,
and then
"Give me my egos."
Let go my ego. But yeah, I think she'll. I think 11. I believe what will happen is 11 will do the whole self-sacrifice, and she'll close it with her on the other side, and that'll be the end of it forever. That'll be the end of season 5. I think the next 2 episodes will. My theory is that Will is far more involved with everything that's going on than we're led on to believe. Because there's a lot of like from the first season versus this season, how like Will, when he went to the Upside Down, survived for so long with like only having the slug kind of side effect situation. And they I've watched a couple of TikToks, seen a few theories, and they make sense that Vecna was in season 1, and he was the Demigorgon was in the Upside Down, chasing after Will. And the reason that Will didn't fucking do the bone breaking thing was because he was in the Upside Down physically, and 2, he started playing that song that his brother showed him, and we kind of know that music is the thing that can stop him from doing stuff. So
gotta be running up that hill.
Yeah. I really I have never heard the song, and if I never hear it again, that'll be fine.
It was funny because when we were watching that episode and the song came on, Megan was like, "Oh, I love this song," and then now it's like become a meme and she hates it.
Yeah,
and she's like, she actually really liked that song before it was in Stranger Things, and now she hates it.
Apparently, that's like a super common thing that's happened with a lot of people who are actually fans of Kate Bush, and that they were just like, nah. After that, I was just like, ugh, and I was like, oh, that's funny. But I think Will have some more involvement because he didn't really feel like. It didn't feel like he had enough going on in this most recent season.
Well,
I think the guys in that area didn't have enough going on.
The everything in California kind of just hasn't evolved into much. But I think, and a lot of people have been complaining about that, but I feel like the reason for that is maybe because they're going to have more to do with final season,
Yeah, I
or
think so as well. Yeah.
Will in particular is probably going to have more of an impact because everyone's like, what about all the shit that happened in season 2 with Will, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I mean, the show's not over yet. Maybe it'll come back.
See, they did say that there is going to be 5 seasons of
Yeah,
this,
there's
right? And
one
that's the
more
end.
season
Yeah.
after this last part.
I'm sure all of them are like, oh, thank fuck. Because I know that Finn doesn't want to kind of be known as the horror film person anymore. Or like that, but like that's all he gets fucking cast in now. And it's probably because he's been typecast to be that sort of person.
Yeah.
But he's a fucking cool actor, and he's also really funny in like real life, like watching all of like the stuff that he does. So I wish them all the best of luck. Did you hear that Millie Bobby Brown is incredibly no, no. I was gonna there's a meme going around that she basically stopped posting on social medias for like after the first season because people would take like her photos that she'd put up on Snapchat and then put like the caption being like I hate blank and stuff like that, and so it just made it off to make her seem super homophobic and super racist and everything.
It's just so shit to be a child actor.
Yeah, child actors, man, they have it by far the worst, and because their parents control everything, so many child actors get nothing, see nothing, and that's why they go to like drugs and shit like that because most of them get fucking hated on the entire time.
Mm.
I.e., that dude from what's it called? Star Wars.
Oh yeah, fucking Anakin or whatever. He's back now
Yeah.
in Obi-Wan, and people are very happy, and he seems excited about it. But it did. Everyone they fucking ragged on him. And
Yeah.
Jumper is a good movie, guys. I liked Jumper. Okay,
In theory, it was good.
it's not. It's not bad. Give it
like
another watch.
any movie that has teleportation with rules that apply. It's cool. That's cool. But
I'm just
it
gonna
also,
tell
I
Lux
think,
we've moved on.
yeah, cool. Does it come out? Did it come out near the same time that Chronicle did?
Let's have a look.
Because I feel like Chronicle just did that genre better.
So Chronicle came out in 2012, and 2008.
2019. 19. Sorry, 2009. I was gonna say. Okay, never mind then. But yeah, he do be jumping.
He jumped from here and he jumped from there.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about that entire movie was that the reason that Samuel L. Jackson hated jumpers so much was because only God should be in the same place, in 2 different places at once. That was literally his excuse. This is why I'm killing you. This is why I'm hunting you guys down because God.
Careful.
Yeah,
Careful.
it used to show up on TV all the time as well. Over here.
I watched it the other week. I think it's on Netflix or one of those streaming platforms at the moment.
Hey, what did you think of the most recent episode? Like, so not the one that came out today, but the one from last week, of The Boys.
Wait, not the most recent one?
So not episode 5, episode 4. Because I haven't seen episode 5.
Oh, okay. I watched episode 5 last night, but
Did it come out last night?
Comes out Fridays.
It comes out Fridays in the States.
I watched it last night, so it's on Amazon.
Weird. Okay, all right. That's interesting because it showed up late last week. So I haven't watched episode 5 yet, so we won't talk about that. But episode 4, what'd you think?
I can't remember what happened because I just watched number 5. What happened at the end of 4?
Spoilers for The Boys season 3. Huey stole the V.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and then they rescued they freed Soldier Boy.
They freed Soldier Boy, yeah. The dildo fight. What did you think of that?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
As for how Butcher uses Kimiko,
not happy about it. She's probably, her and Frenchie are probably my favorites. I reckon Frenchie's gonna die this season.
I do too.
And I'm not
one of them. I feel like Frenchie or Kimiko, one of them is not gonna make it to the end.
Yeah, so I would gather that based on the end of the last on episode 4, that Kimiko does not die. Otherwise, they just would have done it.
True.
At that point.
Yeah.
And I also think that Soldier Boy's his power is the power to not nullify other people's powers, but halt. Because why couldn't? And that's why he's going to be used as the weapon to try and fight Homelander or whatever. That's my theory. But yeah, it's the season's been fantastic. You know that scene in the first episode?
We're going back to
we're going
the
back
little
to
man.
That. Did you know that is all practical effects? There was no CGI, so they made a
massive dick.
Yeah, for him to jump into.
God damn.
If I can find the photo, I was going to say I'll chuck it into your Discord, but I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I mean, it's Discord. People have posted worse shit in Discord servers.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
maybe just spoiler tag it or something.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, it's actually spoiler tag because, drag myself back. Hello, Lux.
Welcome back.
To us,
I haven't changed my location to the US either. Like it comes out on Fridays.
Weird. Okay, maybe
it's not like I'm pretty sure it's, even though it's Fridays in the States, it's Fridays everywhere.
Because episode 4 was.
I'm just saying, I definitely watched it last night.
For me, last week on Friday. So that's when we watched Miss Marvel, I think. It must have been when we watched Miss Marvel.
Maybe it came out late because I watched it at maybe 10 o'clock.
You know what? It probably comes out at like 9
or
something like that. And at that point, I'm playing video games or something.
What a nerd.
I know, fucking
imagine playing video games. Couldn't be me.
Speaking of, what are you playing at the moment?
What am I playing at the moment? You know, I was in another one of my mates' streams the other day, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you for ages. What are you playing right now?" And I sat there for like 5 minutes, like, "Fuck, am I even playing anything right now?" Outside of Resident Evil, there's not really any games that I'm playing. Like, I'll jump into games for like 10, 15 minutes and be like, all right, I'm bored now.
Yeah.
I need to finish the New Horizon, so I'm probably going to do that. We'll get back into it at some point, maybe this afternoon or tomorrow or something. But I've been slowly getting back into Destiny again, which has been pretty fun. I bought Tekken 7 on Steam the other day because it's $10.
Ooh.
But I was talking about it a bit on my stream yesterday about how I think, for me, I prefer fighting games. I've always only played fighting games in like short bursts. Like I'll play half an hour to an hour and then that's it. And I think the best fighting game I've ever played is Tekken Dark Resurrection, the one on PSP. And I think the reason I loved it so much is because it was on PSP. And I could just play it for a little bit here and there. So
yeah, I played it all the time. I had like the coolest, like, because Jin's my favorite character because he's probably the main character and there's a skin that you can buy for him or an outfit that you can buy for him where he has a snowboard on his back.
Yeah.
And so I just grinded for fucking days till I had the full outfit for him to have the snowboard on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
But yeah,
that's
cool. What have you been playing other than Dark Souls on stream?
It's really funny because I realized yesterday that I hadn't touched my PS5 since I moved it into the lounge on the week that I had some time off. To play it in there. It must have been like 2 weeks, and I haven't touched it. I hadn't touched it for like 2 weeks, so I like loaded that back up, had a look at a bunch of things, see what was going on. But nothing really on PlayStation. I'm thinking of playing through Demon Souls again, just in my downtime. But I don't really have much downtime. I picked up. I think I talked about this on stream as well. It's the Digimon like Cyber Sleuth game on Switch because it was like $15 or something like that. So I was like, oh yeah, and it has really good ratings. And I've enjoyed playing that. It's a bit, it's an interesting like kind of move away from things like Pokemon and stuff like that. But I've enjoyed it. Why are my lights flickering on my camera?
I've been doing it the whole time. It's not. Nah.
I should probably have
I
a look
mean,
at that.
it's alright. It's no big deal.
Good. Okay. But I have when I have been able to play actual games,
No more heroes.
I have. That's a really cool game series. I haven't played the most recent one, but I did play one on bloody Wii. Could you imagine?
Oh, you know what I have been playing though?
What's that?
On Game Pass. I've never really played them. The Sniper Elite series. There's Sniper Elite 5.
Oh, 5 came out recently, right?
It's on Game Pass. And
yeah.
I haven't been playing the campaign. Instead, they've got this thing where you can invade people.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, like, you can invade other people's stories and you can play as, like, a Nazi sniper. So I've been doing that a little bit, and that's been pretty fun. Just, like, ruining people's days has been really fun for me.
I like how you can shoot people in the nuts and their nuts explode.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I've just changed them both to red. I think it's the colors clashing against each other that are making it flicker because it looks like it's sweet now. If I noticed that sooner, I would have fucking done something. So I popped it into your Discord, but I've been playing a game similar to Vampire Survivors where it's just like Horde comes at you for X amount of minutes.
Yes.
And you just survive for as long as you can until the end of it. It's hard. Like it's actually difficult, whereas like Vampire Survivor, if you get the right loadout, you can just stand still.
Just stand
there.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's a little bit more like because you control where you aim and all that sort of stuff. And it's $3 on Steam. So even if you play it for like a couple of hours, it much like Vampire Survivor, it's paid for itself, right? But I have been playing that because the games last for like maybe like 15. They last for 20 minutes, but a standard game you might get like 10 minutes into it before you kind of get wiped. So you got to get like the perfect loadout, you know. So that's been what I've been playing in my free time. Outside of that, jumping in and out of Dark Souls 3, but I don't want to go too handy into it because obviously I'll be playing it on stream soon. So, you know.
Do you know how far away you are from the end of Dark Souls 1?
I have killed all of the bosses that'll lead me to the final boss in the game.
But you're doing the DLC, right?
But I'm going to do the DLC next. So tomorrow I think I'll do a stream where I start at like 1 so that hopefully C-Pain can make his way through and tell me how to do everything.
MVP of your stream the last few
Honestly, he is. That's why he's got the VIP tag badge, because for real, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I need to be.
Just like, I love how he's I'm saying he. Do we know? Has C-Pain told you?
I believe so.
Okay.
He hasn't corrected me, so, and I have voiced that I would like to be corrected if I am saying stuff wrong.
But yeah, I love how whenever it was when like you were just getting spammed with all the TTS from all of us, and then he slowly just started getting involved. And then yesterday on your stream with the would you rather questions, and he was just getting into it, and it's like, it's fantastic because he was originally just there helping you out with Dark Souls and Dark
Souls stuff,
but now he's like getting involved with the would you rather fuck a spider with boobs or a boob with spiders? He's like fucking getting amongst it.
I think you made a really good point. Like recently, when we were talking about something, how like it's very on brand for like our group of like viewers to just start spamming TTS with fucking ridiculous stuff. But I have noticed that like because like I usually I turn off my now that I'm using OBS I turn off my the viewer thing because it actually is like a massive relief not seeing how many people are watching you, and you just kind of coast off of that. And with that, I have started to be more aware. Like when I get my you had this amount of average viewers, you had this many unique viewers, email that I get from Twitch, because I can't focus on it during the game, during the stream. So instead, I just wait for that email to come through. And I noticed that playing Dark Souls, a lot of unique viewers coming through, like consistently, and I think it's just because of the game that it is.
Yeah.
And it is often people who want to watch someone either struggle or be good at the game, for however long they want to join in for. And I'm like, does the TTS turn them away? Make them be like, what is going on?
How many people have joined your stream and your TTS is just going, and they're like, what the fuck is this? Or they join in and you're like, so does the spider have boobs? Or are they human boobs?
What's the size of the spider? Is it? But yeah, I was I like become very aware of that. But I'm also just like, if they were here, that that's like exactly it. It's like
if they don't like the then they're probably not gonna hang around anyway.
Like they're not gonna hang around long enough for it to matter. Like C-Pain is the perfect example of that. Like he could have quite easily been like, cool, that's the last time I'm seeing this dude on Twitch ever, and that would have been fair enough, you know. But I think it is one of those things where I'm not going to alienate my viewers that have been here since essentially day one to say hello, like to allow for people who will probably only come in for like one session and then leave. You know what I mean? So I'm happy with the every now and then. It's not gonna. It's not. I think Stephen was right about that, where it is just a lot of
it prepares people.
Yeah.
Because imagine if
imagine if C-Pain hadn't seen that at the beginning, and then like he joined in the next stream and just saw me getting spammed with all that sort of stuff. You know, it's a.
Or like if he had been one of the only people there and no one else was there, and then we all showed up and went like, he'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
It's cool stuff though. But yeah, outside of that, I'm looking forward to playing Dark Souls 2. Couple of C-Pain and Pike, if you've seen him, he's one of Scott's other mods. He has mentioned that 2 is like one of his favorite games, but it's so far from what the Souls series is like, in terms of like there's something called adaptability that you have to level in, otherwise you don't get iframes when you roll. So it's like
shit. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like ends and odds that you kind of have to deal with in that situation, in that particular game, that I am not sure I'd be able to play through without someone holding my hand the entire time. Because that's the one that I know literally nothing about. But yeah, that's it. That's it. How are you finding that fucking boss? I thought you killed it. I left for a little bit and then came back and.
So nah, it's fucking annoying because I looked it up online to see if I was doing the right thing, and I basically was. I just need to keep doing it, and I'm like, people like this. There's like Reddit posts and stuff from 8 years ago, or whatever, when the game came out, where everyone's just like, "This is the worst boss fight in any Resident Evil game," and like since then, it's people like all I found are people just complaining about the bosses in Resident Evil 5 and how stupid they are. But I might try and finish it off stream so that way I'm not sitting there for however long trying to beat a boss.
There was the intention to do that yesterday, with the Bitter Chaos boss, because that's the fact that I did do it within like to be honest, I ended up beating that boss within the space of like probably 40 minutes, which is an unreasonable amount of time to be.
It takes so long to get back to the boss as well.
Well, that's part of the issue, is that the distance between you and the boss is so far that you're just you have to handle it with essentially no like you have to expect that you're going to die instantly as soon as you get there, and that half of the battle is getting to the boss itself. And that's why I didn't get fucked off entirely by it, because I was like, there's nothing there. This isn't a lack of skill. This isn't a lack of anything on my side of things. This is just bad boss design, and that's it. And so that's why I was like, I'm not getting pissed off like I got pissed off with, like, I don't know, what boss? Oh, like the Demon of Hatred. You know, like that boss was just hard like the whole time. And if I had to go from point A to point B to fight that thing, then that would have been really frustrating. But the idol was right there, so it didn't make it too bad. But that boss was just difficult. And so when the entire fight is a gimmick and you're the butt of the joke when it comes to it, you can't really get fucked off about it. It's just a thing that you have to do. So I just if I hadn't done what I did in the last little bit, I would have been like, cool, I'm going to do this off stream with you, so that you guys don't have to see it, and then we'll go from there. I'm glad I didn't, because I think I would have actually gotten a bit angry if I had to do it off stream. But is what it is.
I'm probably going to get frustrated doing the Ouroboros or whatever his name is off stream.
Shouts out Ouroboros. If you kill that in Inscription, it gets stronger, and then it gets passed on generation to generation, mate.
Because the Ouroboros is like the thing that eats itself?
Yep. Eats its tail and rebirths itself. It's Norse mythology.
Oh, yep. Ouroboros?
Yeah. Or Borealis. I don't know.
Aurora Borealis. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Located entirely within our kitchen? May I see? No. What's that from?
No clue.
Steamed hams. It's steamed hams. It's from Aurora Borealis. Located entirely within your kitchen. Yes. May I see? No.
God damn it.
And then he lets him out the house, and
when's the last time you watched an episode of The Simpsons?
I can genuinely say I cannot remember the last time I watched one. I have watched all of Family Guy, though, with Iz. That was our show that we just chucked on in the background because we couldn't think of anything else. And now we're watching the Cleveland show. Didn't get enough love, I would say. Cleveland show is pretty good.
Probably not a hot take, but I've never watched I've never watched Family Guy or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I've watched
like,
bits, but I'm just not like a massive fan of what's his name.
no, well, the thing is I wanted to watch the new season, but I figured we had nothing to watch currently, like together that we will put on. So I was just like, oh well, I'm just gonna chuck this on. I think we actually started it from season 10, because the older seasons of Family Guy are, to put it bluntly, not great. And
Is
not
Family Guy
great.
still going? Like new
Yeah,
episodes?
yeah.
Oh,
Seth MacFarlane will never stop. He'll keep putting out that stuff because it's cheap. It'll be cheap and easy for him to create. Plus he voices 3 of the characters, the main characters, so he's got like no
right.
he's got no reason not to continue doing it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not something that I would regularly watch, so I think that's why I decided to put it on.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched an episode of The Simpsons in a very long time.
I haven't watched Simpsons in fucking years and years and years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a S tier fucking scene though. The located with
The
entirely within our
steamed
kitchen.
hams. Yeah, like
Yeah.
back then when Simpsons was good.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good parts to The Simpsons back in the day. But I don't know. Stuff needs to know when it's like it's time to go. It's time to
yeah. Well,
wrap
I mean,
it up and
I think The Simpsons had been automatically renewed for like, and this is not an exaggeration, 75 seasons. So they'll go on forever, or renewed until 2075. It's one or the other. I am not sure which.
what are they gonna do when the voice actors die?
Replace them, I assume. It wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world. Maybe the more difficult one might be the voice actor who voices Bart.
Nancy Cartwright.
Yes.
The
You know that
Simpsons movie
she's-
is still god tier. Okay.
When Dr. Nick dies in that, I was in genuine tears.
But he died.
Not because I was sad, because it was so funny. Yeah, the glass falls on him. So they're like, oh, and no casualties, and then the glass falls on Dr. Nick, and he goes, bye.
Did he say bye?
everybody." Yeah, and then he dies. And I was like, that is probably one of the best jokes I've ever seen in a movie or a show. Period. So bloody good stuff, real good stuff.
Jesus Christ. Well, go on. Do you have something you want to talk about?
I was just gonna say, what are we thinking in terms of when we do this? You know what I mean? Like,
The podcast?
yeah, how often? Let's really get amongst this before, because I think we're both in agreement that
I
an
think-
hour and a half is about the right.
Yeah,
amount of
I
time.
think fortnightly's good. Fortnightly gives us enough time to come back each time with some sort of little bit of content.
A little bit of content.
Plug.
Shouts out.
Plug our own podcast on our podcast. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But I was just gonna say the last thing I wanted to talk about before we finish up. So Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah.
Did you play the original?
I did.
Did you play?
But not until like later. I didn't play it on PlayStation. I played the relaunch or whatever it is when it came out on Steam.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same game. And have you played the remake?
Yes.
Okay. Still haven't beaten the remake, Joseph says. So I have had this for a very long time. The original.
Do you know that's how much that's worth?
Probably a lot.
Do you have like the manual and everything?
I don't have the manual. I've lost the manual at some point, but I have all 3 discs.
Yeah.
I probably have the manual in a box somewhere, but this is this is the original launch. I've had that since we got it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite games. The remake is... I loved the remake.
Yep.
I... Kind of spoilers for anyone who may not have played both. But towards the end of the remake, it takes a very different direction to the original. And I'm excited because it means the next part that's been announced, which is coming out next year, is not going to be what anyone sort of expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to get what your thoughts are on, because for anyone who may not know, before you jump in, for anyone who may not know, there was the Final Fantasy VII like 20th anniversary event thing yesterday, or maybe the day before, where they announced a couple of games coming, but the ones that I'm most excited for, well, the one I am most excited for is the Crisis Core remake. Which is coming out this year, which is fucking insane. And then also part 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think. And they said it's going to be a trilogy, so there's Rebirth coming out next year, and then the last part will be coming out in whenever amount of time. But
the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crisis Core is easily one of my favorite PSP games, so the fact that that's getting remade is a huge W for me.
It also just makes it bing bang. It also makes it more accessible. I think that was a real kind of crutch that the PSP did to itself, and it didn't make... So like Crisis Core only existed on the PSP from what I remember, correct?
Yes, I don't think they ever released it anywhere else.
They did like a movie of Crisis Core, which is how other people would watch or find that out if you didn't have a PSP, correct?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I just remember watching a movie as well. But it's really cool that now that they're re-releasing that, they're giving people the ability to play games that they weren't initially able to play. Like, I didn't have Final Fantasy or Hire It Out or anything at all when I was younger on my PlayStation. So me being able to play it on Steam was my only interaction with it.
Yep.
I just had a quick look on eBay. The Black Label, the one that you've got, if it's sealed, can go for almost $1,000. If it's unsealed but new condition, it is with the manual fully completed and everything, it's still going for like $800. Like that's the highest one I've seen so far. I'm gonna say don't sell it.
Well, I probably have, I will have the manual somewhere, but I'm not gonna sell it.
No, there's no reason to it either, because it's fucking cool. It's cool to have. I don't think I've got any of my PlayStation games, my original PlayStation games. If I do, they're in like a disc folder.
Yeah.
Stored away.
Let me grab mine. Let's see what I've got.
Some unknown location.
I've got a few. Some of them don't have.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even have covers for the case. But I've got a few PS1 games. I've got some PS2 games as well.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that when I was at uni, I asked Dad to send up all this stuff. And my mates and I, we really wanted to play Borderlands 2. So I took like a box full of PS2 games to EB Games and traded them all in.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, "No, but I'm going to."
Yeah.
And I had Resident Evil 4 and everything. I had all those original games and I traded it in.
Yeah. So I like not so much like PS2 stuff, but like 360 and PS3 shit. We traded in all of that stuff to buy it. Me and one of my really, really good mates back in Wellington, who was also my flatmate at the time. We were like, hey, we're going to be living with each other for the next like coming years. both of us really want a PS4, but neither of us can afford it. What do you reckon about like trading in a bunch of shit? So I traded in essentially my entire like game collection of 360 stuff. I think he added a couple of games and for that as well, and I also traded in my 360. So it cost us like $100 to get a PS4, like a year after launch, which is low key, like not bad. But you also have to kind of grasp the fact that that game is the like how many games it would take to trade in to get that amount of money, because like when the PS4 launched, right, it was like $600 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like, I think, because I got mine not long after it launched, and it was six something, but I traded in my PS3 and stuff for it.
Yeah,
but it was about $650 or something, I think, when it launched.
Yeah, we've still got the PlayStation 4 plugged into the main TV for like Netflix and stuff like that, so it's still running after what, fucking probably almost. There's no way that the PS4. How old is the PS4?
It's literally almost 10 years old.
Far out. So it must
I think
be
it
like,
came out in 2013, maybe 14.
Yeah, my console must be like 8 years old.
Cause yeah, on my shelf I've got my PS1. I've got 2 PS2s. I've got this fucking behemoth, the PS3.
The PS3 is
the big boy,
a creature of massive proportions, and then the PS5 was like, hold my
the PS5 is such a fucking. I love the look of the PS5.
Oh, same. On like by far one of the best designed like consoles out there. When I took it out of the box, wearing my gloves and being very careful about it,
you had gloves on?
No, I don't know. But when I took it out of the box,
I was wearing my COVID mask and everything.
And instantly, like when I reached in to grab it, I was like, "This thing's fucking heavy." Like
it
like the
fucking
box
weighs so much.
The box was big enough as is, but like the actual like console itself, I was like, "Man, this is like far heavier than I expected it to be." So I was obviously very careful, put everything together and everything like that. I'd like to switch up the.
I got Rainbow Six 1.
Is it like the far out, man? That's crazy.
Tekken 3.
Got Tekken Tag.
V Rally.
Nice.
Tekken Tag. No, don't. Time Crisis.
That's a classic. Aren't they remaking that?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
this is one of my favorite games. Don't know if many people played this. Future Cop. Crash 2, baby.
Oh yeah, that's my second favorite one.
This is everyone's favorite.
Hercules.
I got Quake 2 without the cover.
Shit.
We got Ridge Racer. And another series I hope they bring back, Siphon Filter.
I have no idea what that is.
It was like fucking great game. And then I've got 2 like demo these folder things full of random shit.
Nice. Very nice. Wasn't it weird that like you'd put them into like the CD cases instead of having like those kinds of cases, but like and didn't keep them in the actual like case itself, you know what I mean? Like that was always quite weird, right?
Time Splitters is super underrated. That was such a good game. I've also been given an early copy of Modern Warfare 2, baby. Got the original MW2 Steelbook. Steelbook.
Very nice. What's a game that you felt robbed buying?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You know what? Fair. I can get behind that. I think that game. I think Ubisoft are pieces of shit, and it's all about money.
I did see
Um,
there was like an article maybe last week or something about the next Assassin's Creed game, which is supposedly going back to how it used to be. So I'm
wonder where it'll
excited
be located.
about that.
Hmm.
Because listen, Joseph, if you think it's blasphemy that I don't like Valhalla, that's fair enough. But I really liked the old Assassin's Creed formula. I know people got sick of it, and to an extent I did as well, but I don't think just making it into another RPG was the best
No.
call. Obviously, it must have been the best call because it's gone off and fucking made all this money and everyone loves it and
Well,
shit. But
it made all the money because they had microtransactions in play for it. I'm not buying the DLC because I don't want to give Ubisoft any more money outside of getting a full game.
waiting for an Assassin's Creed with modern Tokyo to hunt some weebs. Imagine
honestly,
that, you just crawl through someone's window and they're streaming or like watching anime and you're just like in the back of the head.
that would have been.
You are a Templar, and then just
That's basically, isn't that Watch Dogs 2, essentially?
Oh yeah, true.
I think mine would actually be. I haven't bought I now do a lot of research when it comes to video games. When I purchase a game, there is an expectation that I at least Google it outside of like looking at, when you're on like a Play Store or something like that, you see like the screenshots. I have to at least Google it to kind of see what the ratings are and everything like that. The game that I think I was robbed, and I know that a lot of people are like, it's better now, was Cyberpunk. And I had bought the full deluxe edition.
I was gonna say, when did you buy Cyberpunk? Did you
When
pre-order it
was,
or like?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
When it was announced.
When it was announced.
Yeah, I went to EB Games. I gave them $10 and said, "Hold a copy for me, please. Thank you." But I also got to play it on PS5, so I got to play it in the absolute best quality that you could play it at that time. The game hard locked me into a situation where the only way that I could continue to play the game is by starting it again. And so I never picked it up after that point. Right. Also, it is huge, like in terms of like the amount of updates that they've done and the amount of memory that it takes up on your PlayStation. I'm never pre-ordering a game ever again because of that. And I think the other one would have been like I didn't order it. I like the idea of it. And I was like, oh, this could be cool. No Man's Sky, doesn't matter how many updates they put out, doesn't matter how fantastic it is now. I'll never give any money to that game ever, including if I got Game Pass and get it for free.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat because I've heard No Man's Sky is great now, and it is on Game Pass, but I still don't feel like it's a game I want to get into.
That game was a huge reason why people were like, you shouldn't be pre-ordering games anymore, because they overpromised, underdelivered, and you shouldn't be purchasing something that hasn't guaranteed your like commitment just yet. And so I should have listened with Cyberpunk, and I didn't, because Lux makes a real good point if they're still here. She talked about how all of the trailers and stuff for Cyberpunk, none of it was gameplay. There was no gameplay. It was all cinematic shit.
Yep.
And as a result of that, I should have known better. But hindsight's 2020, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I never bought into Cyberpunk before it came out, mostly because I wasn't a fan of The Witcher, so I didn't just see CD Projekt Red and go, oh, I have to buy this.
Yeah. So I
So
was.
I was
And
I was a little snarky about it, like when it came out and it fucking failed. I was like, I fucking told you, I knew it. But it does suck for everyone who was it sucks for everyone who was super excited about the game.
yeah, well, like if you watch Donkey's video, he talks a lot about how like the game sucks, but the story's fantastic, and that's what you should be focusing on when you're playing it. And I'm like, I'm not going to sink 140 hours into a game just for a story. If I wanted to do that, I'd watch The Iron Giant 100 times in a row. You know, like it's it just seemed a bit
And the only reason, ladies and gentlemen, that Marcus would watch Iron Giant that many times is because he's a massive fan of Vin Diesel.
yeah, yeah. My boy, he was Riddick in Chronicles of Riddick. He was Riddick in all of the Fast and Furious movies. He was Riddick in uh, what
And
other movies has he been in? Triple X.
I'll bring up Vin Diesel's IMDb.
Filmography.
He was in that babysitting one.
The Pacifier.
The Pacifier.
Holy. God damn.
He's Riddick in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. He says, I am Riddick.
We are Riddick.
do you think, if you were to put up all of Vin Diesel's characters against each other, what one do you think would win?
Groot.
I'm partial to the Iron Giant if he didn't get hit on the head.
Well, actually, yeah. He was in. Have you seen The Last Witch Hunter? Where he plays
No.
he plays Riddick, but he's hunting witches.
No, I thought that was Jeremy Renner and some other person.
Oh, maybe there's another one, but he's definitely
maybe...
he's definitely in a movie called The Last Witch Hunter,
No,
where he's got like a beard.
The one that I'm thinking of is Hansel and Gretel in the Witch Hunter.
Oh, yes. No Riddick in that one.
I'm pretty sure they still give him a bow and arrow. Fucking Jeremy Renner, man.
And then Vin Diesel also stars as Riddick in Bloodshot, where he's also hunting vampires.
Oh, yes. What about in Triple X?
Triple X.
He's Riddick.
That one, or Triple X Return of Xander Cage?
Riddick?
I mean Riddick.
Imagine being called Xander, but with an X.
What happened to... Didn't Ice Cube play Triple X in one of those movies?
Yeah. I think it sits in the same vein. Their intention, I believe, Triple X was to basically be the 007 of like action films. So it didn't have to be played by Riddick. by Vin Diesel. It just had to be like it was the code name, basically. That's gonna be something that'll stick with me for a wee while. It's not even the most known role that he's played.
No, he's known as fucking Dom Toretto.
Dom Toretto. Everyone get a Corona. Shouts out my boy Dom Toretto.
Being all about family and Despacito.
Yeah. I reckon that family meme, the meme that kind of floated around when 9 was coming out, I think that was a planted meme.
Yeah, I feel like you've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think their marketing team was just very good at what they did, but I think it was a planted meme. And
I think all of Fast 9 is a planted meme. I think the whole movie is a planted meme.
You know, between him, like, I genuinely had to stop myself. Vin Diesel.
When Riddick, yes.
Yeah. He, when he is fighting someone, he's not allowed to lose in his fights. And that's like contracted in. So if he gets hit by someone, he has to hit them twice as many times. Or like, he'll never get punched in the face or get like, if he gets like a punch in the face, then he gets like 5 body shots to the person who punched him. So that is also written into, I believe, The Rock's contract as well. So when they have scraps with each other, neither of them will win the fight. It'll just end in a draw. And it's just because Vin Diesel didn't want to lose, and I think The Rock was just like, you know what? I'm gonna write this into my contract as well because it's funny. And then he's like, I really hate the Fast series, so I don't want to be a part of it anymore. No matter how much money I fucking earn from it, because he probably earned millions from
a shit
it.
ton of money. So now they got fucking Jason Momoa instead.
Yeah, when he left, did you ever see the post that Vin Diesel did to try and bring him back? Like he posted like the cringiest thing in the fucking world on Instagram, being like, "This whole movie franchise is about family. You don't abandon your family." If I was The Rock, I would.
And then Rock just hits him with the.
Oh, sorry, my hat's in the way, but it's so fucking.
While he opens up his fucking Terramana tequila, and he goes.
I saw a crack up meme.
Like it's hey, Rock here from Iron Paradise. Fucking
Rock here from Crackdown 3.
I'm busy starring in the latest season of Fortnite.
That's right. So it was so weird because it was like he was in Fortnite, but he was his character from Crackdown 3, right?
Was he? I don't know.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was what had happened. But fuck. There's this crack up meme where like it's like the Rock like face and like the Vine boom effect, but it's like a bunch of different like things doing that face. So it's like the Rock, and then it jumps to like a cat doing the same face, and then it jumps to the Rock going like the meme that joins in with that, and then it'll cut to another person doing the Rock face again, and then he'll do the and then someone did it with a guy who looks like the Rock, but he's I think he's Korean, so he's like they call him the Korean Rock, and they both just start doing like the face to each other, like they just cut it back and forth over and over again, and then they both do the at the end of it. I'm like, that's a good meme. That's a solid 10 out of 10 meme.
It's a S tier bit of content meme. Much more than it's Morbin time.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hate Jared Leto so much. I think I hate him more than I hate Tom Cruise. And I fucking hate Tom Cruise. You know, he's not someone that anyone should look up to, by the way. He's a piece. Scientology is a joke. The first episode of Bit of Content, Scientology slander is allowed here. And then we get fucking hit up by Zeno. Turns out that
oh shit. Fuck. Comes knocking on the door.
Yeah. I'm like, you're short. Your teeth are weird.
Your teeth don't line up with your face, you weird short bastard. Why don't you go fly a plane and fuck off?
Did I ever tell you about my mate who had met Tom Cruise?
No.
So they filmed one of the Mission Impossibles, part of it in Wanaka.
Yes.
And he flies helicopters, or flew helicopters down there. And they were like, oh yeah, you've got a high profile person.
Did he die?
Coming through. No.
He flies. He flew helicopters. Sorry.
Yeah. So he doesn't do it.
He passed away.
But that's your way of asking if one of my mates died. Crazy stuff.
We got to make it a joke somehow.
Yeah, true. And so he was flying the helicopter.
No, but is he all good?
Usually does. He's sweet now.
Okay, sweet.
Oh, I mean, after the accident.
Yeah. The accident of meeting Tom Cruise.
Still has brain function, but no motor function anymore.
All right, fair enough.
Carry on. But God, I should probably call him just to make sure I haven't put something into the ether. But he's a very bloke, my mate. So, meeting a literal superstar, I guess, wouldn't affect him in any way, shape, or form. And so, he's doing his usual shit talking with the person who's flying with him, and he's like, "Oh, so what brings you here?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, like I'm filming a movie out in this location, so we're flying out to set and all that sort of stuff." And he's like, "Oh yeah, what movie?" He's like, "Oh, have you ever heard of Mission Impossible?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I know of it. I haven't seen any of them, but I know of it." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, well I'm one of the actors in it." And he's like, "Huh?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually the main actor in it, or the main character in it." And he's like, "Oh, what's your name again?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Tom Cruise." And he's like, "Huh." And he just continues flying the fucking helicopter to this place. And like, I feel like my so Ollie is like is very like aware of everything, but he just doesn't really give a fuck about anything, you know? And so like I feel like Tom Cruise is probably one of the most conceited people I've ever fucking seen in my entire life. Meeting someone who does not give a fuck who he is must have been a shocking thing for him. Because Ollie was like, "Oh yeah, I met Tom Cruise," and that's the story that he told me.
He told me his name, and I was just like, "Oh yeah."
I was like, "Oh, interesting."
Dropped him off at the place, and then fucked off.
He's also met like because Richie McCaw obviously flies planes and all that sort and helicopters and all that, so he's met him a couple of times, and it's just like another fucking Tuesday for him, you know.
It's like what Joseph just said. I was wondering if Tom Cruise is sitting there like, "Fuck, this guy actually doesn't give a shit." Am I not the Tom Cruise anymore?
Yeah.
I better go and make a sequel to Top Gun so people remember who I am.
Yeah, you know what the worst thing about it is that apparently it's really good.
I've heard it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've heard the original one's good too. I've never seen it, but
It's very homoerotic. I think we've kind of had this conversation as well, but it is good for like the movie that it is, but it's also and this is not a joke. This is an absolute fact. It was all a lot of it was staged so that people would join the Navy.
the original
or join
one,
the Air Force, yeah. To the point where they had people outside of the movie theaters that they were playing at doing sign-ups, having like sign-ups, and they also the US Navy had a lot of say in what actually went on in like the script and stuff like that. So that would imply, if you know like anything, you must know about the volleyball scene, right?
Oh yeah, the meme and stuff. Yeah,
fucking, they were doing that for the hey, you'll meet your brothers in this, but it just comes off as really gay, and that's kind of epic. I'm not gonna lie. So,
you'll meet your brothers who may become more than brothers.
Maybe your lovers. Who knows?
Who knows? Sign up today.
Yeah.
But just don't let us know.
Yeah, don't let us find out about it. Otherwise, you're gone. So I imagine that with Maverick coming out, that the same thing would have applied as well. So it's just a big fucking propaganda film, right?
That's like, I'm sure that's a talking point somewhere for people about how it's maybe glorifying is the right word, glorifying the Air Force. But I think most people will just go,
do that, right?
Yeah. I think most people are just going to go watch it either because Tom Cruise is in it, or they watched Top Gun when they were kids, or people just want to see some fucking jet planes fly around and shoot each other.
What's the other dude's name? The other big actor in this?
I can't remember because that other guy.
He's the Fantastic Four, the new Fantastic Four, or the remake of Fantastic Four.
Oh, Miles Teller.
That's it. Yeah, he's in it as well, and I think he's got quite a significant fan base. Like enough people will be like, "Oh, I like that actor. I will."
Yeah, and there's that clip on TikTok of him on the beach with the mustache, and he's going like,
"Yeah."
And apparently there's all these people, all these dudes wanting to rock mustaches now because of that movie.
Wow, I've been rocking a mustache since day
Nah,
one.
but you gotta clean shave everything else.
I do on occasion. On occasion. It's also winter, so it's cold.
Yeah,
you know. But like talking about like propaganda. Like, did you watch American Sniper?
I did. I've seen it. Yep.
That movie was just full of it.
Yep.
It was just full of like pro-war, pro Americans did nothing wrong. It was these damn people in the Middle East that were the issues. It's
These damn
oh dang you! It's also not very well.
Mujahideen.
It's not very well written.
I'm not going to name nationalities in case we get cancelled, but you know.
Yeah. Shouts out, first episode, get cancelled instantly. But
yeah, and what
it's just a
Steven
whole
said,
bunch-
I also heard the same thing, that apparently the guy that the movie was based off of was a cunt.
Yeah,
'Cause-
well, like the you know, the elite sniper and everything like that. Like he like because his switch up was when 9/11 happened. But what really I think was ticking in his brain was, now we can do something. Now we can go into their territory, which, wink wink nudge nudge, might have been why it happened to begin with.
shit.
Shouts out my boy, fucking what's
Jet
his name?
fuel, steel beams.
George Bush.
George Bush. Fucking look out for George Bush.
Have you seen that? So I'm gonna go off on a tangent real quick. There's this comedy. There's this a comedian who's doing like stand up at a place, and like, you know, everyone's having a good time, having a laugh, and then he makes a 9/11 joke, and it is one of the most awkward like interactions with someone ever, and they're like, oh no, it's they're doing like an improv show, and one of the actors on stage makes like a 9/11 joke, and then one of the other actors is like, I knew people who died in that shit, and everyone thinks that it's like
part of it,
like part of the bit, and then he walks off stage and like throws a chair across the room and everything like that. He's like, you don't joke about that. It's like, okay, either everything's sacred or nothing is.
Yeah, exactly.
First off, but you've also made like an absolute fool of yourself, and yeah, it was a fucking tragedy, and there's like, we really shouldn't be joking about it, but your response to that joke was by far the funniest thing in the entire show.
Shit.
Classic memes, classic good times, fun times. Okay, I have a bottle with a baby, but I've got
had to
jokes.
make a bottle with the baby, but I've got jokes.
God, fucking, why do I even bother? That might, maybe I'll change TTS to one channel point so that I don't have to read anything.
Honestly, watching you read shit on your stream, fucking, it's the funniest shit.
For a while, like so.
Like, I'm not loud. Like, I know dyslexia is a terrible thing, and it fucks with people on a daily basis. But just watching you like pick up items and shit in Dark Souls and then read them out, and they're just so wrong, but you're like, the sword of Astokmir, and then you carry on, and I'm just sitting there like, that's not what it fucking said, but whatever.
It's funny. It is funny, and it has slowly become part of my like shtick, because I can read, but it
you don't have to justify it. Like, I know you can read.
I want to explain the like where it comes from.
Yes.
And so when my dyslexia is a weird one where it will add and remove letters to words, and it will also, because of, when we're taught as kids, you're like, these two letters together make this noise. So my brain is like, if a word has those two letters together, I just have to make that noise. There's no like trying to sound out what happens next. So when, let's say PH, for example, is a F noise, but then if I didn't know the word fuck, the UK would be an uck noise. I don't look at those two put together. I look at the if what, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're saying.
So it sounding out words doesn't work for me because of the way that I read them. But I'll be able to sit down and, like, let's say for example, read like a book, but it would just take longer than most people because I'd be like, that word doesn't fit there, go back, and I'd have to
No,
go
it's
back
like,
and reread it.
because when you read chat on your streams and like you read it wrong, I see, like, you can tell where you're getting mixed up.
Yeah,
Like it's not like you're just making up shit out of nowhere. Like,
I'll also add words into sentences or remove
so it makes
words from
sense for you.
sentences. Yeah. It is super interesting.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify. I'm not making fun of people with dyslexia.
Yeah, of course. And like, to be honest, it is kind of funny, you know. Like,
It's funny content wise.
Yeah,
and that's what we're all about.
It was horrible at uni and at school, but it's funny now. I'm 27, you know. It's only been something that crippled me for my entire life, and then when I found out when I was I think I found out at uni when I was like 19 that I was actually dyslexic. So like the actual diagnosis of it was given. But I remember one of my teachers at school was like, why can't you read this? And I was like, I don't know. It's like, why are you adding things there, X, Y, and Z? And I was just like, I don't know, you're the fucking teacher.
You tell me.
Yeah. And then like hindsight, obviously, me having dyslexia fits into that kind of bill. But it was also it's kind of like, you're a teacher. Like, you calling me out in front of the entire class.
Yeah, that's like, that's so shit.
It's fucked. It's like no wonder I never it will
fuck with people's like confidence and shit.
Yeah. One of the really interesting things that I had found when, like, you know, kind of talking to people at school and at uni and stuff is like, I have and will never find joy in reading, like, at all. Like, but I love storytelling. So it's really weird that, like, I don't like reading, right? And I would also say that it's probably because I never got read to as a child. Like, that I never get tucked into bed and then have someone read me a book. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, now. It was like, go to bed. Okay, good night. And that's the end of it. But I loved, like, you know, movies. I love TV shows. I love video games and all that sort of stuff. So the idea of reading something to me there is just no, like, need for it. I haven't got a need to be like, I'm gonna sit down and read a good book. You know, it's just
I'm not dyslexic, but I'm the same. I don't enjoy reading books. I never have. Like, it's not something I've ever just really.
Yeah, I think you also need to be like a really specific person to be into books like that. Like,
yeah, like my mum, my dad, and my sister, they all love reading. Like, they read all the time, and they take the piss out of me for not reading all the time. But the most reading I do on a day-to-day basis is like when I sit on Reddit and just read what's going on, or like read just random bullshit on the internet.
The most reading I do is legitimately if I can skip a conversation in a game where it's not voice acted and instead I have to read it. It's the first 5 words of that sentence, and then I hit X because I'm like, well, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to read this. I'll piece it together somewhere. So like the idea of reading is weird to me. Or like sitting down and reading is weird to me.
Yeah. It's not something I do either. Outside of Berserk, which is what I've been reading, but it's kind of like...
Well, manga and comics are so different though.
Yeah.
Like, and it's because it's also visual storytelling, right? So, and if we're talking about visual storytelling, fucking hell, man, Berserk is so good at that. Like, when Guts swings his sword to, like, fucking cleave through like 50 people, like the weight that you can see in the ink, like the drawing, like when it carries across like multiple pages, but you never see the end of the sword. It just like reaches the end of the page, but how much further, you know? Like, it's very, very well made.
There's definitely a few panels where I'm like, what am I looking at? And then like after a couple seconds I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's
Another
a sword going through like 8 crocodile people.
like, yeah.
Now I know.
Another manga that does that really well. In terms of like when it has its battle phases or when it does like things where you need to see an impact of something is One Piece. I haven't read much of One Piece, but there are really some panels that are like they carry across like a series of pages and you see how it's moving, and then you go to like the climax of that page and it's like the scale of the impact is the way that it's drawn. It's not like a panel anymore. It's like 2 pages together.
Mm.
That like you've opened up into like I think it's like Luffy like hitting the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like you see him falling through like a very various amount of panels, and then you flip the page and he's hit the ground and it's like the whole earth has been like shattered or whatever. Maybe it's not Luffy. I don't know. It doesn't really matter because One Piece is not something that I'll get into unless I absolutely have to. I'll just read what other people's opinions are of it.
I don't see
and by
myself
read I
watching
mean
One Piece.
watch a TikTok about it.
There we go.
Because short form content is the best kind of content at this point. Shouts out Vine for getting that started.
Attention spans in 2022 have fucking dwindled.
Yes.
Humanity is fucked.
Yeah.
We can no longer pay attention to anything for more than 30 seconds.
We want that instant hit of...
We need dopamine in our systems.
Of dopamine, and we want it now. I've noticed that if something doesn't grasp my attention in the space of like maybe even like a second on TikTok, I'm swiping away, which is probably not a good thing to
no,
go
but
into.
Like that's the thing. Like if something doesn't get you in that 1 second, because you know you can immediately be watching something else, you're just gonna
doom scrolling, baby.
Unless you're like me and you're stuck in a endless cycle of shitty New Zealand TikToks.
Yep, all of mine are just Minecraft parkour with Reddit posts. What's the weirdest thing you've ever
that guy,
in your life?
I've had that guy show up now too.
Yeah. And he's just Minecraft parkouring.
Fuck, I think I liked it. Hold on. I was gonna send it to you before we started. Hold on. It was like I did like it. Are rams called rams because they ram things? Or is the act of ramming, what did he say? Or is the act of ramming called ramming because rams ram? The act of ramming is called ramming because rams ram. It all started with the Old English ram, meaning ram sheep. The act ramming is named after rams.
Even the ram like that they use to like smash down like castle walls and shit like that has the head of a ram at the end of it as well.
Then I was thinking we could cut that to you dancing with Ram Ranch.
Whoa, 18 naked cowboys at Ram Ranch. That was my magnum opus and it got like 12 likes.
Honestly, there's some like TikTok just baffles me sometimes at the shit that gets all the likes.
So I've been seeing this trend recently where it's like so apparently there's Iz gets it because her TikTok is far different to mine. But there's this trend going around TikTok called getting Chris'd, and it's Kris Jenner or whatever her name is, the Kardashians' mum.
Yes.
Dancing after you find out like a weird piece of information or like but it's a lie. So like one of them was Zendaya and Tom Holland breaking up, and then it cuts to Kris dancing and it's like get Kris, haha, and I'm like okay, like I understand the mechanics around this meme, but where was I going with this?
I don't know. Keep going though. You'll find it.
Yeah,
eventually.
hold on. Give me a sec.
Just keep talking. It'll come to you.
So with that meme, I have watched a couple of things where like I'm like, is this real, or am I about to get Chris'd? And you look at the likes on the video and everything like that. Ah, now I remember. And it's a like they've put like it's a person going, and it's like seeing Markiplier trending on Twitter, and then like the comment section is turned off, and like they have like 200,000 likes, and then there's just no explanation. So it's like, and then like the ones who do have do have the comment section on is like and the comments is like normalize posting context and stuff like that. And I've been getting heaps of them recently, and I'm like, this isn't content. How have you got 500,000 likes? Like that doesn't make any sense.
There's been a few TikToks I've seen with hundreds of thousands of likes, and it's not anything. It's just something happening, and then all of the comments are just like, haha, so funny.
Yeah.
Just, this is funny. And then someone's like, I don't get it. Can someone explain it to me? And everyone just replies like, haha, this is funny.
Yeah, and I like, obviously that is the joke, right? That's part of the joke.
Yeah.
But like jokes are meant to be funny, you know? Like, and like there is no jealousy behind this conversation or anything like that. I do not give a shit that this person who posted literally
my TikToks are way funnier than this.
Well, they are.
Why don't I have hundreds of thousands of likes?
Incredibly humble, but like that's where my kind of theory around like TikTok being it grasps like a single video. Like you'll find that when you go to those people who've like posted that, me seeing Markiplier trending on Twitter, me seeing why, when you go to their channel, that video has like over 1 million views, 200 and something plus K likes, and then every other video has like 100 views and like 1 like, and it's just like, that's why I think that TikTok will, when a video has like some kind of interaction at the beginning of it, when it's first posted, TikTok is just like, cool, we're going to force people to see this who it will quote unquote interest, not because they want other people to view it, they want you to continue posting. That's basically their thing. So they're like, we'll make a bunch of people like this thing, and they'll be like, cool, that's nice dopamine, I'm going to keep posting to chase this dragon now. And like, it just, unless you're someone who is consistently posting 1,000 and getting like millions of views at a time, it never happens again. You know what I mean?
And it's weird because like with that sort of content, what else will you do? Like what else can you do?
Well, like there's that, I'm not sure if you'd seen it before, but there was a dude on TikTok who got really popular from the Justin Bieber, the Kid Laroi song, and people do that.
Yeah.
And the cameras. So he got really popular from copying that from someone else, and his whole shtick is like, haha, I'll copy a trend.
The guy with the drone or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. He's like, I'll copy a trend and I'll get views from it. But because that was the thing that made him popular, he has to do that in every single video for the rest of his life to even consider getting stuff. And he posted a video one time. There's also another thing about this dude that I'll jump onto in a quick sec. But he posted a video about how his like the shirt that he wears in every single video is starting to fade, and whatever company that makes it doesn't make it anymore. And he's like, oh, I've got millions of views that are showing like me wearing this outfit, and you guys won't even send me a shirt. Like, it's like, get over yourself, you fucking piece of shit. But one of my favorite things about this dude, above anything else, was he posted. So on TikTok, you can show what you've liked and what you haven't liked.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, no. You can show what you've liked, or you can turn off that function. And I don't know how he did it, but he turned off that function and people went to his liked videos and it is all breastfeeding videos. It was all breastfeeding videos. And TikTok, for some reason, allows full-on tatas out if it's breastfeeding, which is really interesting. That's a whole another can of worms to dive into. But it was all like thousands of them. Like scrolling down his likes is just thousands of breastfeeding videos, and it crippled his channel as soon as he did it. And he tried to, you know, leave the viewed likes on. He unliked all of those videos basically, and then only liked videos that were like the trending video at the time. So if you remember that dude who did the oh, you don't need that, and he's and so he like, you know, like a couple of that guy's videos, and then he'll post a video about that, but all of his comments are like sus likes. You've got sussy likes, and I was like, fuck, that's so good. That is so good. But shouts out TikTok for the breastfeeding videos.
Oh, I know what I'm doing after this.
There's also a fucking, I don't know how, I think it was again another TikTok. Actually, it was Eddie. Do you know who Eddie Burback is?
I know the name. Let me just look.
He was the guy who was in Eddie and Gus, before Gus became a total piece of shit.
Yes. Yep.
So he posted a video. I think it was him. Might have been someone who looked like him, but he posted a video about like, hey, if you want to see something really fucking weird, jump on to Instagram, search up Fortnite gameplay or like Fortnite Battle Royale or something, and it is literally the entire Fortnite gameplay or whatever tag it is just Fortnite porn. Just
Jesus
full on Fortnite porn. And I was like, he's like, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but he's like, don't look at it with anyone around. You don't need to click on any post. You'll just see the profile pictures and you'll know what I'm talking about. And I was like, I've got to see this. So I jumped on it and it was like that. So I told all the boys, I was like, oh, please go and look at this. It's fucking epic, because it was when we started playing Fortnite again. And they're like, oh, damn. Whoa. I know what fucking accounts I'm following now. But
ah,
yeah,
shit.
The internet's crazy, man. There's some interesting stuff going on.
It's so weird.
Oh.
Well, what have we've been, buy me a cock. So it's been almost 2.5 hours, so we could probably wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, to be honest, Ed.
Have you taken over to the vet or not yet?
We took her this morning, so
everything's all good?
All good to go. Yeah, she just getting her stitches out. We gave her a bath for the first time in like just over a month because she was bloody stinky, but we couldn't bathe her while she had the stitches in. So she's
German word of the stream for stinky or stink. The German word for stink is stinkst.
Stinkst. Okay.
Just so you know.
Is this gonna be a thing at the end of the?
Oh, maybe. We probably need something.
Give us some info.
I'm probably gonna. Should we make like a YouTube channel or something to put this on?
I think it's probably a good idea. What I'll do is, I feel like I've done absolutely nothing. I'll make the TikTok and I'll make the Instagram for us, and I'll give you access to them because I think you can do that. And then we can start fucking posting some epic content. Bit of content.
Epic.
Yeah. Nice. Look at us.
Yeah, I was thinking we should probably review something as well. And give it like a letter rating bit of content.
Okay.
Anything. What are we reviewing for the end of today's podcast? It's your pick. You're first. Okay. I'll do next fortnight.
Vin Diesel as Riddick. Right. Out of 10.
No, is it like on the lettering scale from like F to S?
R for Riddick.
You heard it here first.
No, okay, let's have a quick think about what we've discussed.
And I'll make a little thing that pops up.
Let's talk about oh fuck. I don't know. What
I mean,
what was
you can talk
something that
about
we
you can rate Dark Souls 1 because you've almost
Oh
finished
yeah,
it.
okay. Yeah, look, I have basically finished that.
I haven't
heard that
finished
one
it,
of
so I don't have like a rating for it yet.
Yeah, I've
Definitely not made it
heard
as far
that
as
one
you
of
have.
the yeah, I've heard that one of the best boss fights in the Souls series is in the DLC. So for now, I'm still going to rate based on my past experience for Dark Souls, um, and how much I hated it at the beginning. I am going to give it a B plus plus. No, an A minus. I'll give it an A minus, because I have not finished it yet.
Fair.
But once I got to the point where I could move freely, the game basically opened up entirely and was 50,000 times better. So A minus.
A
Is
minus.
that can it be an A minus?
It can be whatever you want.
We'll make it an A minus.
All right, and now I'm gonna. That's an A minus. Better content right there, ladies and gentlemen. Dark Souls 1. A minus. Better content. Yeah. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've just posted a comment in the chat. Thanks for hanging out. I have been Vak. This is my Twitch channel, so I don't really need to shout it out, but go ahead, Marcus.
And I have been Marcus. Feel free to follow me on Twitch, Marcus with a Q. The Q is spelled Queu. Follow us on TikTok. I can't. Vac's one is Vac
Underscore NZ, I think.
And mine is just straight up my username, Max with a Q. Oh no, whatever you clipped, Lux, looks like it didn't work.
Let me try open it. It worked for me.
Oh, good. Yeah, follow us. We're gonna start a TikTok, Instagram for this channel and a YouTube channel, so please go and have a look at our shit. Vac has done some fucking epic work with the logo, with the background, and all that good stuff. I am technologically inept. If you've joined any of my streams, you shall know that. But we're out here trying. We're out here, creating a bit of content. So I'll start up an Instagram and I'll post it in both of our Discords, and a TikTok if you guys wanna see us in that sort of business. Then we'll do that. But I think we're thinking fortnightly.
We'll do fortnightly. Yep. So every 2 weeks.
For the time being.
For those in America who don't use the term fortnightly, we'll be doing this every couple of weeks, and I'll make a YouTube channel so we can put those on there. And who knows, maybe this will turn into something more than podcasts. We don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like
a
bit of content
suspicion.
like has the name where it could be more than just a podcast. But
yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that we might be doing a little bit of maybe some Let's Play stuff on the YouTube channel and all that. But we'll figure that out when we figure that one out. For now, this
go follow Marcus. If you're not already, anyone in chat who only follows me, what the fuck are you doing? Go and follow Marcus as well if you're not already. But that's us.
At 200 followers, I'm going to dress up as one of the Jokers. I'm not going to tell you guys which one.
Yeah, he's doing a Joker stream at 200 followers. He's almost there. What are you at? Like 140 something?
147 now, I think. I got a follower in the last stream, I believe.
Nice. 147. Yeah. He's on the way. I like that I'm at 111. I'm an emergency.
we're gonna call the police. These
Please
bloody mongrels.
don't call the police. But yeah, I don't have like an outro screen or anything, so I'm just gonna stop the stream when we're done. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, Marcus. Thanks for hanging out, everyone watching.
Thanks for doing all the bloody admin side of stuff, mate. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the guys who come through and watched us shoot the shit for 2.5 hours. We weren't even playing video games, so that's pretty cool. I'm proud of every single one of you. Have a fantastic rest of your afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are. Vic, do you want to do your sign off or whatever your sign off is?
Later.
See ya!